Hey everybody, welcome back to Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mary.
And we have another episode for you, straight from Mary Bird's Garden. Hi, Mary Bird.
Number 33?
Hi, Mary Bird. Yes, I think it's 33. Mary
wow.
Bird.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Good. Hey, it's been a fun, you know what? It's been, we're old, so we have to talk about the weather. But during the day, it's been hot. But in the morning, it's not bad.
Oh.
We walked early this morning. It was very cool.
It was lovely.
It was really nice. And it's actually not too bad right now. If the sun doesn't hit you, it's not bad.
Yep.
Afternoons are brutal. So,
but
yes,
it's getting to be a longer morning and not really earlier evening yet. I can't tell, but a longer morning.
We're getting there. I like fall. I'm a fall, winter, springy kind of guy.
We do get a nice long fall, which is great,
Well, because we get a very short winter. That's why, right? Well, do we get a winter? I mean, I don't know.
Sometimes we get an intense week or two.
Ooh. So, and anybody listening outside of Central Texas is probably laughing at us at this point. All right. So, with that said, yes.
We are joined by two nice, furry little special guests.
We do. We have introducing Gilder and Brooke again. They are up here with us again.
And I think they're getting used to this because they ran into the podcast studio and they crawled under the table and they are fast asleep.
They're very happy. So it helps them, helps us. They're not abandoned. They're very needy. They're very needy dogs.
They're people dogs.
They are people dogs, but they're needy.
Bricky's laying here with her two front paws curled up under her chest.
Oh, I know she's excited about what you have to talk about. That's why, Mary.
Very good. I hope she learns a thing or two.
I do too. So, with that said, Mary, what's new in the garden this week?
It's been a very productive week, I have to say. I'm quite happy about that. We did yard work one day.
We did.
To knock us over with a feather, I'll tell you.
Hey, just to interject there. So, what I kind of like is I don't have to actually mow every week now because you can tell it's fall. Everything, it's still very nice and green, but it's slowing down, getting cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not a once a weeker. I'm probably every 2 weeks now, maybe.
Whoa.
Isn't that nice?
That is so nice.
I think it's nice.
And I don't know, I hope this isn't Jeff's Corner today, but you had told me something about watering. If it's Jeff's Corner, then
it's not going to be in Jeff's Corner.
Okay,
there will be no watering in Jeff's Corner this week.
You had said that you read that you are supposed to start backing off on the watering now.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I talked about, I think, last time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll start cutting that back, I think. I think it's getting to the point, because it's cooler at night now.
Yes.
So right now I'm watering twice a week. I'll cut that back to once. And then, as we get deeper into our frigid winter, we'll reassess.
Well, now that our overnight temperatures are reaching 70 and under, it's very important not to be watering during the dark hours because you'll encourage fungal growth in your lawn.
We don't want fungals.
You don't want fungal.
We're a non-fungal family.
So you do want to have it watering at a time where it will dry out. That's true.
That is correct. So we'll do some adjusting on the old computer over there and get it set up.
I don't
know if it's a computer, whatever it is, the timer. All right.
Yes. So this week, we had purchased a desert rose at the beginning of the year, and we bought one last year, but I didn't really understand the care of it, and it probably wasn't dead, but I thought it was dead, and he went the way of all
good
plants. But at any rate, this year I listened to a YouTube video put on by the Texas Garden Guy, and I enjoy watching his videos. Anyway, he's a big enthusiast of the desert rose. And so I decided I would follow his tutorial and repot our little desert rose he went back in the same container because I learned that they love to have good, cozy, tight spaces to grow in. They don't like a lot of flap about room, and likely because it holds too much water. And so in the desert rose, the bulbous part of the stem holds a lot of water. So I chose to use a very well-draining cactus-type soil because that's what was available in our area. And, I feel pretty positive. I'm kind of enthusiastic about this.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Well, it looks maybe like it's getting ready for winter.
It's a cool-looking plant, though. It's got the big bulb on the bottom, and it's almost like a mature tree there in the middle. I mean, now it's it's very small plant. It's not huge. But
as the base of this is called the caudex, and as the caudex enlarges, you could increasingly lift it out of the pot.
Oh, wow.
And it will just keep growing. They size up when they're in the pot, but over the years it will just become a massive.
That's cool. I like it.
Trunk-like feature.
Good job. Bring her back. Bring her back.
That's kind of what I understand.
Okay. Well,
and the other thing I repotted, and again I used cactus mix, was our money tree.
Yeah, our money tree was dropping dollars on us.
Money tree. Well, you always learn things, and when I got in there and took it out of the soil it was planted in, I was, dismayed, I suppose you could say. I discovered that the entire root system was just packed in coir, which is coconut fiber. And it's very good for holding water. It is good for drainage, but it's also good for holding water. And what happened was it was in a container that didn't drain.
Oh, so it's holding too much water, you think?
Well, I think we did a pretty good job of not overwatering, but whatever water we did give it was pooling at the bottom.
Okay.
We only lost one of the braids of the money tree. The rest of them were still healthy and hard. And so I repotted it up, and we're going to see how it's going.
Okay.
And I feel kind of enthusiastic about
I still got hopes for lots of money off that thing. It dropped some dead bills on us. We need some good. Was
it a quacker?
It wasn't good. But I know you trimmed it back. It looks much better.
I did. Yes. Yeah. So I'm excited about getting those two things repotted, and I feel like the yard work. So we did a lot of weeding. Oh my, that was.
That's correct. You did a lot of weeding.
Well, no, in the end of it, I had to call my husband over. I had to call Jeffy to help me pull some of the vines that had rooted themselves into the soil because I could not for the life of me get those things out. I even had a shovel and I was trying to dig them out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we got in there. Oh, but one thing did happen.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
Event.
Yeah. So we had it's a weed. Is it a weed?
We get into some messes, don't we?
I know. And the dogs are always involved in them with us. Is it a weed? Have we confirmed it's a weed?
I don't know what it is. It's
got huge burrs on it.
I do not think that I planted it. So it could have come in by a bird, which is what I think happened. It does have a broad green leaf to it, but the cockleburrs on it are massive.
They're big. Yeah, they're
huge.
They're like probably an inch long.
Oh, they are.
And then they're kind of they're big. They're not big. Skinny or anything. Yeah. So that
the base of the plant. The base of the plant. You brought me over there and showed me.
It's huge. It's like a tree.
It is.
We're gonna. That's on our list to pull that thing out.
Yeah, it's coming out. But we have to block the dogs away from the garden when we do it because our dogs are Boykin Spaniels and they have a lovely, wavy hair that just continues to grow out quite long. And our little girl dog especially got tangled up in all these burrs, and her ears were matted against her head.
Yeah. It was actually, well, it was kind of crazy
bad.
because I know you kind of let him in to that part that we have cut off. So when you were in there, you let him run around, which was fine. They were playing around.
I let him in.
And then when we came in the house, we noticed her ears were like, they were pinned to the top of her head.
They were pinned together.
And we're like, what the heck is that?
And to the top of her head.
And when we started investigating, we found, I don't know. So both dogs ended up with a lot of burrs. And they're not burrs you can just, they're not,
No.
you have to cut them out.
We took scissors to them.
We did. And they had them in their ears, on their paws, on their bodies.
On their feathers.
And their feathers of their,
legs.
it was.
And so Brookie's running around right now. She looks polka dotted.
Oh
she
my
has
gosh.
Bald patches.
She's scrappy right now.
It's very bad.
Very scrappy.
Very scrappy.
She's got a lot of missing pieces there on there.
She does.
poor dog.
She looks very lopsided.
I know, but the funny thing is they were just running around. They came in and if we hadn't noticed that they had to bother them. I mean, there's no way. Those things were so big. And they weren't actually doing anything. They were just kind of, whatever.
I know, right?
I know. And they had a lot
I think you
on them.
noticed because Gilder must have worked out one of the burrs.
I think he was trying to chew on one, and then we said, "Wait, what's that?" And then we saw them. They're just huge burrs, and they're just. It was a lot of fun. So we.
It looks like I'm going to have to put on my Sherlock Holmes houndstooth hat and do a little bit of investigation.
As we call. I was never in the Army, but as we call in the Army, G2. Do some G2 work. Which I had a boss who told me that one time. I had literally no idea what he was asking me to do.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Yeah, he told me to do some G2 on something, and I had to ask somebody, what the heck did he just ask me to do? It's a military term. It's a level or something. I don't know. Anyway, investigating.
Okay.
So interesting. Anyway, we need some G2 on that plant and get it out of there. We got to get it out of there.
Perhaps we will come back and tell everybody what our discovery is.
Absolutely. That was a good adventure. I
haven't been able to figure it out yet.
Between skunks and lizards and whatever else, we got all kinds of good adventures in our backyard.
We were walking through our neighborhood. This is the third time we've had this event. But you and I were walking along, and we passed another couple of people that were walking, and the young lady scooted right out of the way. And you looked over at me and you said, "Mary, I think that's a snake."
Oh, there was a snake in the road.
There was a snake in the road, and he had been hit by the car.
Gotta love nature.
Oh,
it's awesome.
It's crazy.
And we're in a subdivision, which is really kind of crazy. But it was a subdivision that was kind of probably built in a place there shouldn't be a subdivision.
Well, we are close to a conservatorship area. So
we see all kinds of cool stuff. But more adventures. They just keep coming at us.
In the garden.
I know. It's a good thing we had 5 kids. We're used to nothing phases us anymore.
Yeah. Well, that is what I have for what's new.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I like it. Well, everything is, like I said, everything's kind of slowing down a little bit on the growth, so that's a good thing.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we should move to, what do you have for us? What's kind of on the agenda today?
Well, the first thing I was going to sort of talk about, when we walk through our neighborhood, there is a plant that's doing so beautifully right now, very colorful and lush, and it's a annual flower that people buy and plant out in their gardens. And it is actually called a Madagascar Periwinkle. And previously, it was always known as a vinca, but they've moved it into another family, and you can find these plants at every single garden center. You can find them at the home centers. They are just prevalent everywhere. And they're so tough. They're just wonderful if you have poor soil, They are very happy in full sun. They can grow in dappled shade, sort of, because we have some that are in that situation. They're really perennial in zones 10 through 11, and you could guess from the name that they come from the Madagascar and tropical regions. But we're in 9A, and I have had some that have come back over winter for us, which, that's wonderful. They're just a very sweet mounding plant that comes in a wide variety of colors. I don't believe I've ever seen a yellow one, but they have pink, red, white, and quite beautiful. Now, the thing that's important to know about this plant is that it is toxic.
Oh, wow.
It is highly toxic to people and pets. And in fact, some of our cancer drugs have been distilled from this plant. It's a source of vincristine and vinblastine used in treating cancer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, which, I don't want to touch that stuff. It won't hurt you as you're planting it, or if you're, when you brush against it and things like that. That doesn't hurt, but you'd never want to have it where somebody could eat it.
Yeah.
And silly me, I have it growing in a container on our deck, right up there.
Well, now we know.
Now we know. But as long as you understand about it and you're aware of that property of this plant, then you'll be ready to make good judgments, shall we say.
Okay.
And some of the names are graveyard plant. It's been called...
Gotta wonder why.
Old Maid.
I wonder why.
It's also been called Bright Eyes because it does have a very nice center to the flower that causes it to have a little bit of a sparkle to it, And the leaves are kind of oblong, and they come in a wide variety of colors. They kind of highlight the flower, so they're attractive as well. So they are very long flowering. Now, I've noticed in our garden they do decline during the hottest portions of the year, but they will flush right back out when it gets to be about this time. The one thing about our weather pattern right now is that we've been without rain for so long.
Right.
And these plants are highly drought tolerant, but you don't want to, not supply them with any water. Probably a good soaking once a week, and they'll be very happy. They grow beautifully with the ornamental sweet potato vine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're quite lovely, and we do grow them as annuals here, and that
nice.
is
And what color is that?
Great little plant.
What color is ours?
We have a variety of pale pink and almost a red and a white, a few whites. And the leaves on ours are more in the lime green area. But you can get them variegated and everything. Now, their vinca plants come in different, people say vinca major, vinca minor, whatever like that. Some of the plants that are labeled vinca when you go to the store are honestly invasive species. So what you want to buy is Catharanthus roseus. And you want to make sure that it's Madagascar Periwinkle or something like that.
Okay.
Vinca minor is a plant that I do believe is from the Asian areas, and we just don't have the limitations in our weather or soil or things that they would find in Asia, and so it does go rampant. You want to be careful about Vinca minor.
Okay. Okay, no Vinca minor for us.
Yeah.
We'll just go major. We're
You
just
know,
majors.
honestly, in some HOAs, they have it listed that you can't grow it. So you
okay.
do want to check up on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so that's what I have on the Madagascar periwinkle.
Very nice.
Lovely little bedding plant.
The Vinca, now I've heard it called, I've never heard of a Madagascar periwinkle. It's always called a Vinca. It was always called a Vinca, I think.
And it's still labeled that way.
Is it?
That's
Okay.
why I want you to be careful
Yeah.
when you're in the store. I mean, familiarize yourself with the images of what your plant should look like, because the two plants look very different.
Okay.
The Vinca minor is a vining type plant as well. And periwinkle Madagascar periwinkle is a mounding little plant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good tip.
Good tips.
Thank you. Hey, that's what we do, right? This is the whole idea. Is trial and error.
Yes.
From us as we learn, try to pass stuff on to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, because we do learn. I mean,
we do. Sometimes we learn the hard way, but we learn.
We learn the hard way.
Eventually learn. All right. What else you got?
So, I'm always on I just have this thing in my mind that shade trees. I always think about having shade trees, and you could think that would be quite normal because of the amount of sunshine that we are gifted every year.
Yes, we're going to call it a gift.
So shade trees are very important in our area, and one tree that I love so much that I wanted to highlight this on this podcast is the Burr Oak.
Okay.
Now, we don't have one. So I just want to state that right away. But it is one that I have such a really fondness for. The Burr Oak has very, very long life. It's a Quercus macrocarpa. And it's just a very large tree, but it's a little bit on the slower growing side. So you're not going to have a huge shade tree overnight, but eventually, they could get 90 feet tall.
Wow.
And the trunk can get where you couldn't even wrap your arms around it if you didn't want, if you tried. And so the one thing to know about them is this tree is really a very deep-rooted tree. So where we live where the topsoil is quite thin, and I think it would struggle here unless you came in with a jackhammer and created a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay.
I don't know. But like by the riverbank and by streams and over towards East Texas, where you have a little bit more of your blackland prairie and things like that, I think it would do quite well. Or, they're massive, deep roots that go out and search for water. As they become established, they're very drought tolerant, because they're going to force their roots down and go look for that water. But the tree is so beautiful. It has very large fiddle-shaped type leaves to it. And then the acorns can be as big as the palm of your hand.
Oh, wow.
The acorns are huge, and it makes a lot of acorns. So, yeah, I just really love this tree. And you do want to think, if you're interested in it, you do want to plant it in the fall. It's a really good time. It gives those roots a good chance of establishing before either an ice storm hits it or a heat wave, right? Hopefully this winter you would have a mild winter and it could get very well established. But so, of course, you want full sun, 6 or more hours a day of direct sunlight. And it's tolerant of a lot of different types of soil. It doesn't have to be acidic or whatever, but it does have to have organic matter, and it needs a place for those roots to go. You want to make sure that you're planting it well away from your buildings because it is going to grow so tall. You don't want to run into any problems should a storm occur or things like that. And you want to just, as you first plant it, you really want to get in there and give it a thorough watering. And while it's establishing itself, you want to go out there and check on it more often. But once it's established, you could water a nice deep water once a week, even during the hottest parts of the year, and it will do very well.
Okay.
And saying that reminds me that I forgot to go out and really water in our olive tree I planted very well. I'm going to have to.
Look at that.
That's another learning point. But anyway.
Put that on the list.
So you don't want to fertilize it when you first plant it. Let it grow. And then if you plant in the fall, start in the spring and give it a little bit of fertilizer. If there's dead or damaged branches, or if one branch is crossing over another branch that'll cause rubbing, you want to prune those away. But otherwise, you don't need to worry about pruning. If you have any seasonal damage or whatever, just take out the dead so the energy could go to the rest of the tree. And when you first plant it, you want to put up, in our area, we have a lot of deer. And so you want to put up a barricade so that the young deer or the deer that are shedding their fuzz off their antlers don't come and rub against the tree.
Yeah.
So you want to put up a guard. And these days, the prevailing opinion is not to stake your trees, to let them get more vigor and health from the wind blowing them around. I don't know. If you feel like you really want a straight trunk, you might try staking it for a year or two. But there you go.
Okay.
That is the Burr Oak.
The Burr Oak. Welcome, Burr Oak. Nice to have you.
I know, right?
Well, we don't have one, but...
We don't have one.
That would probably be tough to grow here in our area, like right here where we're at.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Some people do have them in our neighborhood, but I do know that the company that came and put them in has used, like I said, jackhammers and things like that.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, thank you, Mary, for the Burr Oak.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
All right. Hey, I have a little Jeff's Corner thing.
Jeff's Corner.
Let me ask you, Mary, what do you know about a ginkgo tree? Do you know stuff about it?
Do tell.
Do you know?
I know that when we traveled to Europe, we did see one. I think.
Did we see one in one of the gardens?
We did see some ginkgos in one of the gardens. Okay. But tell us about the ginkgo.
Let me tell you about it. So just so everyone knows, I am getting this from the Texas Gardener magazine.
Nice.
They have a great article about the ginkgo, a tree with lots of history and beauty is what the article is called. And it's actually talking about a famous tree that's in Tyler, Texas. There's a ginkgo tree in Tyler, Texas. And interesting enough, this tree was brought back to Texas by Richard Bennett Hubbard. He brought it back from Japan as a sapling in 1889.
Oh, my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
1889?
He did, and then they planted it. So they planted on the property, so it's there in Tyler. It's on the where the city hall is there in Tyler.
Yes.
But some things, I didn't know anything. All I know, I think ginkgo, you hear about, and it's like a medicinal thing, or people tell you to take it. But it's actually, you can consider it like a living fossil. It dates back to the Jurassic period.
Wow.
I know. and it's the only member of the Ginkgoaceae, a once large family of plants that became extinct long ago.
Oh my goodness.
And so fossil records do show that it was distributed over much of the world with its the dinosaurs, along with its contemporaries, the dinosaurs. So isn't that cool?
Wow.
So it is a native Chinese in China. It's a Chinese native. And they are widely planted in China and Japan, Europe, as you said. And there are some in America as well. And although I don't think there's many here anymore. So they've been in the Orient and Asian countries for a long time. But they use them for their nuts and for their medicinal properties of the leaves.
Oh, okay.
So, I knew Ginkgo because
right.
Isn't this like isn't that something they can promote to take or something?
In the supplement aisle.
Yeah. So it's long lived, obviously.
I guess so. 1898.
So they said that they're saying there's many specimens that are more than 1,000 years old, and the oldest in Western China is reported to be at least 3,500 years old.
What?
How crazy is that?
Wow.
Obviously, it grows slow. It's a slow grower.
That's amazing.
But, I mean, if it's around 3,500 years, it's not growing fast, right?
That is amazing.
It's pretty tolerant of insects and diseases. That's probably why it survived. And I think, the leaves kind of have like this fan-like shape with like a little cleft in the middle.
Nice.
So it's like a fern, kind of look like a fern.
Oh, and so if it grows in Tyler, I wonder if it would grow here.
It may. I think, if you look at the article, if you go out and look at the article, they said that one was brought to Austin at that time and given to someone here, but nobody here knows anything about it. But I'm assuming it could grow here. Pretty cool, though. I mean, who knew? So here's this is very important. They are, now you're going to have to help me, dioecious. Right? So it's got male and female flowers.
Oh. And
they're born on separate trees. So a seedling will either be a non-fruiting male or a fruit-bearing female. Oh. Now, they have like the female, they have the plum-like fruit. It has orange and yellow, and it's got a little flesh over it. And the word ginkgo comes from the Chinese word for silver fruit or nut.
Nice.
Now, here's the... I think it's cool.
Okay.
So if you have a female and it's fruit bearing, the fallen fruit, according to this, gives off an extremely putrid, offensive smell.
Oh no!
So they're recommended that you avoid female ginkgos.
Oh my! That'd be awful. Oh my!
And they said if it's not named, like with a grafted variety, then it's a 50-50 of what you're getting. So if you get one, you probably want to make sure you're...
however many years, and then all of a sudden you're hit with... Yuck.
That would be nasty. I know. The nuts are considered a delicacy in Asia. And they're actually very popular over there. The nut does contain some toxic compounds that can cause serious medical problems if you eat a bunch of them.
Okay.
So you don't want to eat. You probably don't want to eat them. I think it goes. It's slow growing again. But anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. It's I'd only heard of the word ginkgo as it pertained to medicine or supplements or whatever it is. But it is a Jurassic type of tree or plant.
That is very interesting.
There you go. If you want to go back to the Jurassic area, you can plant some. Don't plant the female though. We don't want stinky.
I was going to go out right
roots.
Away and
we don't want stinky
demand
stuff.
A female.
Oh boy, it is supposed to be very attractive though.
You would have Would you have to have the male close by to do that? I don't know, but anyway,
I don't think you have to. I think you can either get the male or the female. I don't think you have to. I don't think they're needed.
Right. It may not
like some of the fruit trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want a male. Males in these. Anyway, if you're interested in some more, I kind of was cherry picking here some of the info. But Texas Gardener on their website or their magazine They got a nice article on the Ginkgo.
Thumbs up to the Texas
And that was
gardener.
Jeff's Corner with some interesting facts for you.
Interesting tidbits.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right.
We might have to go look for one of those.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'd like to see what it looks like, to be honest with you. Like, not a giant tree, but just like what it would look like in a nursery or something.
Right.
Be kind of cool to see.
I am sort of wondering if it might grow as a bonsai. I might go look that up.
It might. It's really slow growing, so that might be a good choice. Anyway, little thought provoker for you. How's that?
It's like, let's go to the garden center.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
That's all I had. What do you got? You got anything else?
Thank you, Jeff. I do think that we've covered everything this week.
Okay.
I'm hoping that we might have a special podcast next week and be joined by perhaps our daughter will come on into the podcast with us. And we might be discussing how to create a tablescape using African violets.
Oh, that would be cool. With the and we have all the things coming up. Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays.
Yes,
There you go. I was that word just escaped me. Those things, there's some things coming.
So,
yes, I meant holidays.
Good. I'm pretty excited about
Cool.
it. I'm talking her into it.
All right. Well, that sounds good. We'll see if we have any other adventures with the puppies since then. I hope not. They're keeping us busy, but or any vermin in the yard or
Oh man.
We'll see. We'll just see what happens. You never know what the next
what's around the
day is
corner.
gonna bring. That's what's fun. All right.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yes, and we'll see you next week. Same time,
Same
place here at Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. We'll see you next time. Bye.